Whether you're a fan of seemingly endless volleys or explosive first-round knockouts, this week's sports lineup has something for everyone. And if you're our friend and colleague Kwam, who is himself a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll, this week's events appeal to both sides of his infectious personality. Kwam, tell us why you are so excited about sports this week.
Thank you so much, David. And yes, as I mentioned before, I am a huge combat sports fan. Just to give a little bit of backstory about ye old young Kwam. I used to watch a lot of Dragon Ball Z, and I idolized the character Goku, who did martial arts, and he was just ultimate, just the best fighter ever. And it made me want to be a really good fighter. So I took Taekwondo classes when I was a youngster. When I went to college, I did boxing for a little bit. And then out of college, I did Muay Thai and MMA. So I say that to say I'm a huge combat sports fan. And UFC 290 is looking like it's going to be a great event. Between the main card, we have Alexander the Great and Ior Rodriguez. I'm going to butcher his last name, Alexander, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. But these two fighters are just amazing. Alexander the Great, he's currently the champion, defending his belt against Ior. And he's just a brawler, you know. He has a boxing background and a wrestling background. And if you watch his fights, you can tell he's just trying to throw hands. He's like, I don't want to do all the kicking. I don't want to do all the grappling. I'm just trying to give you the paws, the fisticuffs, if you will. And I can respect that. I love that about him. He's only like 5'6", but he's just such a brute, and he's a force to be reckoned with. But Rodriguez isn't no slouch either. Watch his fight against Max Holloway. You'll see that he is an absolute savage himself. His striking repertoire is sensational. He will try anything and everything when you least expect it. And I think that, you know, Alexander, while he is the favorite, I think he will have his work cut out for him. I think, you know, Ior, he's going to have to be on his A game. But I think ultimately the fans are going to be in for a treat. David, I know you're a wrestling fan, but do you like mixed martial arts or boxing or any kind of combat sports?
I do. I am a huge combat sports fan, more so boxing, because that's what I grew up watching. My grandfather loved boxing, and I also grew up in the era of Tyson. So like it was just all around. Like I just remember being like a kid, young teenager, hearing about I wasn't buying the fights at that time because, I mean, who had the money? We didn't have the money to buy those 5-second Tyson fights. But I remember eagerly listening to the news or seeing how I could find out the next morning if he won or not. And of course he always did. So I've been a boxing fan ever since. I don't watch quite as much UFC, but I love when they have the fight nights on ESPN. I'm just totally fascinated by it, and I would be ended so quickly in any of these situations. Get me in the ring, it would be instantaneous. First even whiff of a glove at my face, I'm like, I'm out. I'm good. You won. You win. You can have it.
I think Kwam likes to think that he could hang in there, but I don't know. I think any one of us up in one of these rings, we have no chance.
I mean, against a professional fighter, I'm not going to disrespect them and put myself in that ring because I'll destroy them instantly. It's not even a challenge. Why would they even want to step in the ring with me?
That was not what I was expecting you to say. But
no. These guys are trained fighters. They're trained killers. It's been a long-standing joke. I don't know if it's real, but you have to register your hands as weapons when you're a fighter. I don't know if that's true, but it probably should be if it's not, because I don't know, one punch from these guys and it may be your last time, seeing the stars. But yes, check the fight out. UFC 290. The pay-per-view will be on July 8th. And moving on to the Wimbledon, another little anecdote about young Kwam. When I was a kid, my dad, I don't know why he did it, and maybe he was feeling cheap this year, but during the summer, he did not put me and my sister into summer camp. No, he put us into tennis camp. Again, I have no idea why, but it gave me a newfound respect for tennis, and actually made me love the sport. He used to watch tennis all the time, and I was like, this is interesting sports for you to watch. Dad, usually watching basketball and football and boxing, and here you are watching tennis. But until I got on the court myself, I did not realize how just intense the sport is. Like, just learning how to volley, like throw the ball up and serve it, is a challenge in of itself, let alone learning how to return the serve. It made me realize if I had to return a serve from Serena Williams, I would quit, because her balls are coming at you like 200 miles per hour, and I would be terrified. I'll be the guy who gets like pegged in the face with a ball. And so the 2023 Wimbledon is going on right now, and it will be going on through July 16th on ESPN. Check it out. There's a lot of great competitors. I personally love Coco Gauff. That is my girl. I'm rooting for her always. But there's also a lot of other, talented tennis players. One from Siberia, not named Nikola Jokic. It's Djokovic. Thank you, Brad. He is a beast. He's a monster. He's an absolute savage on the tennis court. And yeah, do y'all watch tennis? Liz, David, are y'all tennis enthusiasts like myself? Or you're not? You're not
I don't. I first of all, I'm nothing like you, Kwam, because you're just amazing, and there's no one like you.
Please,
so,
please stop.
He's like, please stop. Please stop.
Keep going though. Keep going.
I remember. So, quick story. I also got, for some reason, I don't know what it's. Something happens to you as a child that maybe our parents think that we should play tennis, because my mom bought me a tennis racket one year, and did nothing beyond that. So I just got a tennis racket. So random. Here you are. She thought I would really enjoy it. And I think maybe her intention was to put me in some classes, and then she probably realized how expensive they were. It wasn't new. I think they were at a flea market and found it, and it was in really good condition, but nothing came of it. My purple racket, it was just sitting in my closet. So, but unfortunately I don't really watch. I just love watching the playbacks, or like when I'm watching like the highlights of any of the games, because these people are beasts for real. So that's my little 2 cents on Wimbledon.
Yeah, I love, like with most sports, they're all better live. I wouldn't sit down and watch tennis probably on TV unless there was some big like notable match, like a Serena in a finals. Yeah. I'll sit down and watch. But I did get the chance to go to the US Open a few years ago and got to see Venus play on one of the side courts. I'm like, how are you putting Venus Williams on one of the other courts off to the side? But I guess just how she ranked that year, and sat out in the blazing hot sun. I have a hilariously embarrassing photo. I've sweat through my entire shirt. I took a photo so I could get Venus in the background, and it just looks like a sweaty mess. But the speed that those balls travel with when you are there live, TV doesn't capture it. And it just makes the athleticism of what they do so much more impressive, and just gave me a whole new appreciation for tennis. So I would absolutely go back and watch it again. And maybe I'll catch probably one of the later rounds of Wimbledon at some point.
Yeah, same.
As if Wimbledon and UFC 2090. I almost did it too, Kwam. UFC 290 weren't enough. You can also enjoy continued coverage of the CONCACAF Gold Cup soccer tournament on Fox Networks and Univision. The quarterfinal round begins this Saturday, July 8th, and the semifinals kick off Wednesday, July 12th. You can also check out live coverage of the Tour de France on NBC, USA, and Peacock through the end of the race on Sunday, July 23rd. Check out all of the events that we just discussed and so much more simply by saying sports into your Xfinity voice remote.